How cannabis-friendly are potential
Biden
successors, you guys? That's right, the Biden successors, because, the Democrats are going to have to replace Joe Biden at some point. How they're going to do it is going to be so fun to watch. U.S. President Joe Biden, whose October 2022 executive order launched marijuana rescheduling, the most significant shift in federal cannabis policy in 50 years, who will be the Democratic Party's nominee for president. At least that's what Biden had said repeatedly since his performance in a June 27th debate against presumptive Republican challenger and former president champ Donald J. Trump. Heightened concerns about the 81-year-old's incumbent's age and mental acuity. A miniature revolt ensued among donors and major Democratic Party figures, some of whom are considering possible replacements amid concerning poll numbers that suggest Trump could win a second non-consecutive term handily. Biden rejects calls to step down, and despite public calls for Biden to drop out of the race, he says he's staying in. And it's really not Biden saying that. It's actually Jill Biden and Hunter Biden who are saying that. But nonetheless, we're going to continue. He said it on Friday during a prime time interview on ABC News in which he blamed the bad night of the debate on a cold plus exhaustion. He said it again on Monday morning twice while calling into the MSNBC show Morning Joe, and repeated the vow in a letter circulated to congressional Democrats in this quote, "I want you to know that despite all the speculation in the press and elsewhere, I am firmly committed to staying in this race, to running this race to the end, and to beating Donald Trump," Biden wrote in the letter. In an additional quote, "Any weakening of resolve or lack of clarity about the task ahead only helps Trump and hurts us," Biden says. Possible Biden replacements, but some major Democrats are hedging their bets, worried that if Biden loses, Trump could torch the president's legacy, including marijuana rescheduling. If Biden does change his mind and bows out, who are candidates to replace him on the Democratic ticket? And what are their records on marijuana, you guys? Well, the front runner that everyone is talking about and is saying is the most likely person is Vice President Kamala Harris. The most likely successor is Vice President Kamala Harris, whose relatively quiet tenure as Biden's designated successor follows turns as a U.S. Senator, California Attorney General, and San Francisco District Attorney. While some critics claimed Harris' record as District Attorney showed support for the war on drugs, the VP has since embraced the Biden administration's line that the federal marijuana policy has been a costly failure. She also repeatedly touted the executive orders of rescheduling marijuana and expanding pardons for nonviolent federal marijuana offenses as proof of the Biden-Harris administration's commitment to tangible criminal justice reform. There seems to be little doubt that President Harris would build on marijuana rescheduling, which promises to unlock profound tax benefits for the $36 billion U.S. marijuana industry. Instead, perceived surrogates such as former Attorney General Bill Barr have spoken out against rescheduling, leading to concerns that a Trump administration would roll back rescheduling, doing away with the Biden-era reforms. And I do want to make a quick note on this, that under Vice President Kamala Harris, when she was the Attorney General in California, there were more raids by camp than under any other previous Attorney General. And when she was the District Attorney in San Francisco, I was on her medical cannabis task force, and there were people that were arrested that were part of the medical cannabis community during that time under her tenure as District Attorney. But nonetheless, we are going to keep on going because everyone loves a good gaslighting. The next person that they're talking about is California Governor Gavin Newsom. Also in the short list is California Governor Gavin Newsom, owning to his full-throated support for adult-use marijuana legalization dating to 2012, and his campaigning for California's 2016 adult-use ballot initiative. Newsom could be seen as the most cannabis-friendly Democrat on the party's roster. Well, you just would have to look at what Gavin Newsom has done to the California industry over here just to see how friendly he is to cannabis. But nonetheless, that would be despite California's struggling regulated cannabis industry and gripes gripes from licensed operators that excessive taxes and erroneous regulations continue to strangle what should be the country's strongest legal market. That's right. The next competitor coming up to the stage is Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Recent headlines claiming Michigan's regulated cannabis industry is bigger than California highlight the legal marijuana is strong and entrenched around the Great Lakes, and Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has played a role in that. It was Whitmer who cleaned house, dissolving the corrupt Michigan Marijuana Licensing Board shortly after taking office in 2019. They still never found that $40,000 from the veterans or whatnot, but nonetheless, I like how they painted that. And it was also Whitmer who signed into law tougher regulations for intoxicating hemp-derived cannabinoids back in July of 2021. But Whitmer on Monday tossed cold water on the Biden succession rumors, telling the Associated Press that such talk is a distraction. But she does lead a longtime Democratic Party stronghold in Michigan, where Trump won in 2016, and support for Biden is flagging among Arab Americans because of U.S. support for the war in Gaza. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear are also on that list. Deeper on the bench, but appealing to strategists concerned with winning over independent voters are Democratic governors representing swing states or red states. That would include Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, both of whom have demonstrated themselves to be cannabis-friendly. Partisan gridlock is bottoming up adult use legalization bills in Pennsylvania legislature, where Republicans in the state Senate have said they won't consider marijuana reform until the federal government changes its tune. But Shapiro's position is clear. His annual budget address in February banked $250 million in revenue from regulated cannabis taxed at 20%. While totally aspirational, that steep levy will spook state licensed operators, but Shapiro's overall message on marijuana is here. It's legal, it's welcome vibe, shift from the obscenity and obstructionism of the recent past, he says. In Kentucky, which has sent Republican Senator Mitch McConnell a frequent fail for Democratic leaders and one of the credited assassins of the safe banking bill to Washington, D.C. since 1985, the medical marijuana licensing process began back in July 1st following an MMJ bill that Beshear signed into law back in March of 2023. In a sign of how that went over with Kentucky's reliably Republican voting record in presidential races, Beshear was reelected last fall by a wider margin than his initial 2019 win. The state also has regulated hemp-derived cannabinoids under a bill, and Beshear signed into law last year. Kentucky law forbids a governor from serving a third consecutive four-year term, so Beshear will need to seek another office if he wants to continue his political career. But he's already nixed the idea of running for McConnell's seat in 2016. And of course, there's also Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. Also coming up in the conversation is another avowed marijuana legalization supporter. That's right, Governor J.B. Pritzker. The independently wealthy governor and heir to the Hyatt hotel fortune might not convincingly critique income inequality or malign the influence of billionaires, as Biden recently has done. But Pritzker is clear on marijuana. He pitched legalization back in 2018, and after signing a bill into law that launched the state's sales in 2020, he has proudly touted a statewide industry that's grown every year since. Well, that completes the article, you guys, with a little bit of commentary from myself, but I'm going to tell you right now that the Democrats only have one hope. They only have one candidate who has actually been elected by the primary, and that's President Joe Biden, so they need to just keep on running with him, and I totally support that initiative because he is the only one that has won through the democratic process. The only other possible person that I think that they actually should consider replacing him with is, I think the only hope the Democrats have is to throw in Bernie Sanders, who is not mentioned in this thing, but I think that's the only lifeline that the Democrats could possibly have if they want to replace Biden. But I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
The fact that their lifelines are both half dead is crazy to me. I see Rico Lamitte for president.
But Bernie Sanders is way more alive than Biden.
That's true.
For sure.
That is true.
That Bernie's the man. Bernie's the man. And if they wanna actually win this election, they better listen to Jason Beck. He said it first. Put Bernie in there. I'm sure all of the young people in America and probably globally would agree with that. I think I would actually agree with that personally as well. I might even vote for Bernie Sanders. Maybe, you never know if he gets up there. But they already stole it from him once. So
exactly.
That's just a dream. That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Redemption.
That's exactly why they won't run him.
Oh man, I mean, I just want to see Debbie Wasserman show up face
how about
now,
you pick somebody,
the head of the DNC? What a pain in the ass.
What's that, Rico?
How about they pick somebody who hasn't been on Earth for How about they pick somebody who hasn't been on Earth for 8 decades?
I don't think they have anybody that's electable. In all seriousness, if we went down the numbers, they don't have anyone that's electable.
If we're discussing
I don't know, Josh Shapiro.
They should put
Josh Shapiro, pot friendly, nice Jewish boy.
Yeah, okay.
No,
I don't think he has enough name recognition, Todd.
Donald Trump was our president. No. Listen. Donald Trump was president. How dare you say somebody is not electable? Anybody is electable in this country.
And we're going to do it again.
Really
Anybody.
I mean, if we're talking strictly from a stance of where they stand on cannabis, which is what the article is about, right?
That's a crock of shit.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm gonna take a shot at Vice President Harris for a second, and I'm gonna take a shot at her because I've followed her career since the beginning, because she came up in Northern California and San Francisco. Biden got the wrong black female vice president. That Stacey Abrams lady, on the other hand, has shown a lot of backbone and would have been a fantastic VP choice. And so I think that the Democratic Party has a lot more talent and depth on their bench. And as Saman said, they bastardized the situation when they installed Clinton instead of Senator Bernie and also Elizabeth Warren. So they've had some people that could have really taken a good run and been more activating for the base, but they've chosen to go to that centrist place where there's not a lot of differentiation. And you can see that at least demographically with the two candidates that are up for consideration.
Well, they picked the black female vice president who stood on the necks of black and brown people in California in order to get to where she was to begin with. So I think, like, if we're looking at this article, which is about their stance on cannabis, which we haven't really touched on, I think her track record shows that I don't care what she's saying or backing now. What she's done is done. And so, I'm all for people changing, but I don't think they should do that of the left of a 180.
She's the Sarah Palin of the left. Like, why would you ever want that person to be one heartbeat away from the presidency?
Exactly.
Trump used to be pro-choice.
I think you're looking at this thing wrong. Yeah, I think you're looking at this thing wrong, Yarrow. I think you're looking at it all wrong, because all of these people have warts. They've all been in the game for a long time. They're all trash. That's right. Period.
But she slept with Willie Brown.
Hold
on. Whoa. She got elected because she gave fellatio to Willie Brown in the back of a limo.
100%. And that's why she's been so quiet as vice president, because she never had anything to say.
Don't even go there. No. Don't even go there. Come on. It's not.
That's how she got elected to DA. That's how she got elected to DA in San Francisco. That's how she started her political career, on her knees.
It can be inconvenient, but it's true.
Allegedly.
It's
true. I'm not even going there. It's not cool. It's not take the show there.
She is the original.
What I'm going to say here is that
you guys have video of that? Trash. Is there video available of that?
Look, they're all trash. Like, all of them are trash. Period. So I mean, you're gonna pick this nice garbage can over here. You're gonna have this like back alley dumpster over there. They're all fucking trash. But the alternative.
It's the truth, though.
No, that's not the truth. The truth is, we get the opportunity.
Hold on, one at a time.
Like, what are the Republicans gonna offer? Pick one of these motherfuckers.
Why are we still debating?
Like, if you're a pro cannabis,
one person at a time, please.
My point exactly. Yeah, my point exactly. 70+% of the country right now identifies as independent. Nobody's going after.
Well, I don't buy that, because if that was the case, Kennedy's numbers would be way up. So I don't buy that. I'm not buying that.
Here's the reality: is everyone,
they're not going to vote for a guy.
Citizens are
just 'cause he's a party
disenfranchised
guy.
with the system, and the system needs to change. And so everyone just debating between the two shitty choices is just perpetuating the shitty system, right?
It is.
I just heard Rico advocate for Bernie Sanders. He said Bernie it down. Just saying.